Hello, everyone. It's Allison from AllisonRaves.co, and today I'm just going to be talking about Instagram. Instagram has changed so much, and I do have training videos on Instagram in paid programs, the most popular being the small audience sales system. So I will be talking about new things, though. I feel like Instagram has changed so much, and their focus has changed so much, and we're all maybe just a little bit frustrated. So I just kind of want to talk to you about how I'm making Instagram work for me today in 2022, carrying into 2023. And with all that, we're just going to get started here. I wish I downloaded my little video, but I don't have it. Next time I go live, I'm going to have a little intro video. Do you know what? I'm going to start over again because no, I'm not. Okay, no intro video. I'm sorry. Just pretend like you see my logo and some beautiful music. Okay, so let's talk about Instagram. And by the way, if you're watching this live, you're lucky because I had a no-show cancellation and this content really should belong in a paid program. So if you are catching this live or catching it on the replay for free, just know that you are blessed. The gods have blessed you. The universe has blessed you. So let's talk about Instagram. I'm going to start at the top. Okay. So even if you've been using Instagram, I'm going to be telling you some like new Instagram I'm going to be telling you some tips for newbies for Instagram, but I would watch from the beginning anyway, because some of these tips are going to be things that you haven't looked at in a while or haven't updated in a while. And so even though some of these may feel beginner to you, stick with me because I think you're going to get some new tidbits here. So I want to start on Instagram with like your bio, right? So your name on Instagram, and then your bio, which is the description below your name, and then your photo. I wonder if I can share my screen and just kind of show you. I think I can. Okay, I'm going to show you my Instagram. So first of all, here's my feed and someone that I follow. Sorry, random person. So here's my profile. So let me use my profile to just kind of teach you a couple of different things. So this is my name. My username is Allison Reeves Co. Your username, in my opinion, is not like that critical. So just claim what you can claim. Mine used to be Allison's Notebook, which is a blog that I owned, and then I changed it and created a new username for that new owner because I sold that blog, if you guys didn't know. So then I changed it to Allison Reeves Co., which is my name. And that's actually my URL. And continue to grow the brand from there. So I would just take a username that makes sense. Don't really care to overthink that. But what does matter is this here. Is the name you choose for the account. So it's important to know that this is searchable. So it's important to include keywords here that people are looking for. This is not your super sexy, super unique tagline. This is what might people be searching for on the internet to find you. So this might require that you do some research. This might require that you look for people who you want to be like or people who are competitors. And so I used to, for a long time, call myself a business coach and a blogger. Then for a long time, I called myself a business coach and marketing expert. And now the two things I want to highlight the most are the business coach and somatic healing. So that's what I have in here. Somatic healing has a lot less searches than business coach, but it's something that is very important to me that I want to attract people for. And it's very specific and unique, but it is a searchable term. And then I have my name in here. I could opt to not have my name at all. People would still probably be able to find me by searching for Allison Reeves. So this headline might look cleaner if I just delete this here. But I like to have my name in there too, just for brand awareness because my brand is my name. And then you can choose your kind of category and who you are here. So I think you can probably select coach. You can probably select whatever your industry is, blogger. There's other things you can select here. I like entrepreneur because I do have multiple businesses and I've had multiple businesses and been a marketing manager at many businesses. So this feels aligned to me to represent who I am the most. And then the next thing that you want to think about is your actual bio. So I use my bio to do an I help statement. And sometimes I feel like I help statements are boring and tired and dated feeling, but they work for telling people what you do in a very short period of time. So this is my current I help statement. I just changed it this week and I think I finally got it, guys. Been changing this every 2 weeks for a long time. And this feels so good to me, empowering you to heal your wealth wound with this hashtag I plan to use so you can indulge in the dreams you thought were out of reach. Then I have established 2011 here. I like to have this year because even though I've been doing this for a while, I look really young for my age, in my opinion. So I like to make sure people know I'm not newbie. I've been around the block a few times, okay? And then I have content and service providers. I also help coaches. I also help people who create physical products. These are the two biggest niches that I help. So I like to make that very clear. And then lastly, so this is all in this is your bio here, and this is your name. Those two things are really important. Then I want to address the link. So a lot of people like to have a link tree. This is a tool you can use that allows you to link to multiple links without having a website. I just like to create a page on my website that looks like a link tree because I want the traffic. So this is a page on my website that looks like a link tree that has some calls to action on it. Now, I've heard some people say it's best just to have one link in your bio. And in some ways, I would agree. Generally speaking, it's really ideal to have just one way for people to reach out to you. I just can't get myself to commit that narrow. And I also feel like because my bio is a little bit new, I kind of like to use the links in the bio to help people understand how to work with me because I am a manifesting generator personality type and I'm unwilling to do one thing. So this works for me. I like having a page on my website instead of a link tree because I want the traffic. I would recommend you do the same. If you have a website, don't use a link tree. Make a page on your site that looks like a link tree. And I have free ways and paid ways to work with me here. And then I have a blog post on somatic coaching because, again, newer industry, people wondering what the heck it is. So I just drive people to that blog post all the time. The last important thing in your profile is your photo. It's important, in my opinion, to have a good photo of your face. If you're a product brand and not a personality brand, you can have a picture of something else. However, it's important not to change this photo a whole lot because if I go to the home section on Instagram, you can see people who have active stories, and we'll talk about stories in a second. People who have active stories, their photo shows up here. And so people kind of learn what your photo looks like small. So it can be helpful to have a keep your photo, the same because people will kind of memorize your look. If you change your profile photo a lot, it can make people confused. So I have settled on this profile photo across all of my social media because that can increase brand awareness and trust and also just, help people understand who I am. So that is how you'll set your profile up. You'll want to do either a business profile or a creator profile. I do not know which one of those is better. I think that they're pretty equal as far as visibility is concerned, but you will want a business or creator profile and not a personal profile on Instagram because you get really helpful analytics. So that is that. Let me stop sharing for now. Hi, it's me again. So that is how you set up your whole profile. Hopefully, even if you're seasoned on Instagram, you got some tips there. So there's different types of content you can create on Instagram, and it's really helpful to use all of these or as many of them as possible. So the first one I want to talk about are posts and videos. So these actually show up in your feed, and now I'm gonna share my screen again. So these show up in your feed. And I'll tell you what the feed is. So when I go home on Instagram and I'm scrolling through the different posts and I'm on a desktop, but it looks pretty similar on your phone, this is my feed. Actually, this is I actually don't know what this is called. Your feed. So this is, this is the feed. On my profile, this is also my feed. So posts and videos will show up here. Actually, that's not true. Posts will show up here. And short videos, videos will show up on this post tab as well if you select that you want them to show up here. For a long time, there was another tab in this tab of 4 called IGTV, where your live videos and longer form videos would go. But now Instagram is treating all videos the same, which is good because it will help your views. So you can have longer videos on Instagram. However, if you have a video that is 90 seconds or under, it can qualify as a reel, and Instagram will prioritize the visibility of it. And you'll see this. If you post a video on Instagram that is long, like if you have a live video that's 15 minutes or even 5 minutes or longer, if you have a live video that then you choose to to show in your feed, then that live video usually is not going to get as many views as if you can keep it under 90 seconds. Instagram just prioritizes that. It's much more likely to go viral if you keep it under that. So you have posts, which are going to show up in your feed. Usually that's just going to be image or text, and there's different kinds of posts that you can have. So I like to do images because I like doing photography, but I will show you on my posts. This kind of post has been working really well for me lately. So just having text over a color, over a brand color, this has been working really well. Here's another example of that. Another example, just text over a brand color. And then, so if you don't want to do photos of yourself, not required. You can just do the text over a color, and carousels do really well. Oftentimes carousels. So carousels are having multiple images in one post. I feel like I'm getting into the weeds a little bit, so I'm going to stop there explaining the different kinds of posts. So we talked about posts, we talked about reels, videos under 90 seconds, which don't want to load. And then we also have stories. So stories, you see I have this pink circle over my face here, and on the app on my phone, it would look just the same. When I click on this, you can scan through these different, what are called stories. Now, stories only live for 24 hours. So these are all the things I've posted in my stories for the last 24 hours. In a second, I'll tell you the different, what you want to post on each of these types of content. Right now, I'm just kind of giving you definitions. So these will all die after 24 hours. And then lastly, we have a live video. I can click the plus button here. Oh, I can't. You can only go live from your phone. So on your phone, if you click the plus button, there would be an option to go live. So what should you be posting on each of these different types of post types? So on your posts, on your videos, this needs to be content that is specific to your avatar. Same thing with your reels. Your reels, posts, and videos, that needs to be very specific to your business. If you're watching this, I'm guessing you have a business. I should have said that in the beginning. If you don't have a business, this Instagram training may not be super relevant for you. I'm assuming you're here because you know that I'm a business coach. So your posts and your videos and your reels, the stuff that shows up in your feed, that needs to be about your business. Same thing with your live videos. Your live videos need to be relevant to who you're selling to. Your stories can be about whatever the heck you want them to be about. So you can have business posts in there, but I use my stories to post about foster animals. I use my stories to post about life. I use my stories to post memes. Actually, posting memes in my stories that my avatar finds funny is a really good way to get the views up on your stories. And I'll do that. A lot of times I'll post a few. I'm giving away all my secrets on this training. But a lot of times if I'm going to do a lot of business posts, I might post a few really good memes beforehand to get the views up a little bit. So in your stories, you can post whatever you want, but it's very important for posts, reels, and your live to be relevant to your business. Because if you do a reel and it goes viral and it's about a foster dog and not about your product that you're selling, you have now unintentionally built an audience of people who don't want to buy the thing that you're doing. So I used to love posting like music, like I'd go live and sing and all that. And that was not helpful for building my Instagram for the purpose that I wanted to build it for. So, okay, we've talked about your bio, setting up your account. We've talked about what types of content to post to each thing. I want to talk now about growth. And again, this is just if you're a beginner or if you're kind of stuck in 2022. So in order to grow on Instagram in 2022 and 2023, you're going to have to do short form video, probably. And Instagram has been very explicit about this. They've said it over and over again. They're prioritizing video, even though Instagram is a platform that was created for photos. They are just not really showing photos in people's feeds the way they used to. So unfortunately, you're going to have to do short form video if you want to grow on Instagram. That does not mean that you have to be dancing in your video. That doesn't mean you have to do things that don't feel aligned. You don't even necessarily have to talk in your video. Some of the videos I have that are the most successful on Instagram, I'm not in. And so I'll show you my Instagram again. I'll just show you, actually, these reels are not loading for some reason. So I may not be able to show you. Okay, I'm just going to give up on that. So some of the videos that I have that are most successful on Instagram don't have me in them. I will take I had only one video go viral to date, or two. And one of them was me sitting in my backyard. So I've got my camera and I'm looking out at the backyard. So you can see my feet in it. My husband and I are both holding a drink. And the post is about the benefits of doing nothing. And I just had a trending audio along with that video, and it got 11,400 views, which is exponentially more than I get on average. Um, so using trending audio is a good way to get more views, but I feel like that is maybe for another training video because we don't want this to be 5 hours long. So in 2022 and 2023, you're going to have to do short form video that's under 90 seconds. You do not have to do talking video or dancing video. It could just be a quote, or you could just talk and be showing a video of something else. Canva.com is a great tool to use to help you make videos when you're not a graphic designer or a videographer. So Canva.com, my absolute favorite tool for making videos. They even have templates for reels that you can use just to get started. But some of my clients have gone viral with just really simple templates. One of them went viral by having journal prompts for mompreneurs. It was just audio with the journal prompts. That's a great reel, short form video. So unfortunately, like I said, if you're going to have to do video in order to grow on Instagram, that is like your reach marketing, but there's so much potential. It really is worth it. The other ways to grow, and this is more like direct client outreach, engaging in hashtags. So it used to be that you really kind of needed to use hashtags in your post to help you to be seen and to be recommended. But Instagram's algorithm for like deciphering what your content is about, their algorithm is really good. So you don't actually have to use hashtags anymore for people to be able to find you on the For You page or through the algorithm. Because Instagram, if you're writing your content specifically for your avatar, which is the last thing I'll talk about in this video, Instagram will know what you're about. So you don't have to obsess over hashtags. However, hashtags are really great for finding people who could be your avatar. So here's what I do. I used to look for competitors and look at the hashtags they're using and then engage with people who are using those hashtags. But now I do this once removed. So I find a competitor, I see what hashtags they're using. I click on one of those hashtags. Then I look at the top people using that hashtag. So there will be two tabs that pop up when you're looking at a hashtag. One is top and one is recent. I look at the top. And then I click on a post from the top. And then I look at who's engaged with that post. And that's who I interact with. Because I'm not looking for the influencer using the hashtag. I'm looking for the people who are engaging with the influencer using the hashtag. Let me see if I can give an example without giving away my own secret sauce. So I'll just show you because that's a little bit of a kind of a technical process I just explained. So let's just look for, I don't want to like actually look for a competitor of mine. I'm just going to look for a hashtag that I would want to look for. So let's just say like if I want to look for business coaching, business coach, that's going to be probably a very broadly used hashtag, 5 million. That's a lot. So click on this hashtag. Okay, so you can see we have top posts, and then on your phone, you should see recent posts as well. We're not actually getting a recent post tab here. So on your phone, you're going to have more functionality. That's fine. I can still show you. So I'm going to click on a top post, and you can see they've used the hashtags here. And now I'm just curious. So this doesn't really look like a very high quality post to me. So normally what I would do in the way that I'm teaching you is I would click on this 889 likes because I just want to see who's engaging with this business coaching hashtag. If somebody looks like they could possibly be my avatar, so like this looks like someone whose account isn't super optimized, they have one follower, not ideal for me. Hovering over this one doesn't look like my avatar and it looks like a male, not an entrepreneur. So I'm kind of looking for people who have an entrepreneur vibe. This one is a no-go. This one is a no-go. This one is a no-go. But if I scan through, like this person looks like they might have an optimized profile. So I'm hovering over this and I might go to her profile and see. So I'm looking for people who are entrepreneurs. So they're going to have somewhat of an optimized profile. And so that's what I would do. I'm just scanning through people who have engaged with this and I'm going to go to their profile. So let's just say, like, I don't think this person is an avatar for me. Their account's also private. Let's click on another I'm gonna look for entrepreneur lifestyle and see if I get a little bit of a higher quality post here. I think this is just hard to do on desktop, honestly. But that's the process. Clicking on the hashtags and see who's engaging with it. I know someone who uses hashtags pretty consistently is one of my coaches, Emily Utter. So I want to go to her account. So let's just say that Emily was a competitor of mine, which she's not. So I would go to Emily's account. I would click on one of her posts. I would scroll down and see if she's using hashtags, which in this post she's not. In this post she's not. I know that she does sometimes though. All right, maybe we're just not going to have any luck here. I don't want to spend too much time on this if I don't see. I'll try one more post. Okay, so here we have some hashtags. So let's say that Emily is my competitor. So I'm going to look at her hashtags, and then I don't necessarily want to, click on her likes, but I want to go to another hashtag that might be relevant for me. Okay, so now we're opening up this page, and these are the top posts on your phone. Like I said, you're going to see top posts and recent posts. I want to look for a top post. This one looks good. Now I'm going to go through these likes, and I'm going to scan who might look like a possible avatar. And it looks like this is a better hashtag for me. So anyway, hopefully you understand that. If you're going to use hashtags to grow your account and you want to engage with people using hashtags, don't engage with the people using the hashtag. Engage with the people who are engaging with the hashtag, because that's going to be your client. I took a long time to explain that. Hopefully it makes sense. Following people is a great way to find new clients as well, although it's not great to have like a crap ton of followers when there's not many people following you. So that ratio does matter a little bit. So I wouldn't like go off of the deep end following a ton of people. I would see if you can attract them with that hashtag engagement and commenting on them and engaging with them. Doing collaborations with people who are somewhat like you. So going live on each other's pages, offering free things to each other. So find someone who's in a similar niche or even a competitor if they're willing to collab with you. That's a great way to get followers on Instagram without chasing people down. And then, of course, like just using your friends and community. So when I first launched Instagram, I was posting in my Facebook group, to my email list, to my friends, like, here is my new business Instagram. If you're interested in this content, follow me. That's a great way to start growing the following. So there's other growth tips that I have in the small audience sales system course that I have, which goes into a lot more detail on kind of how to like force this growth. But I think all of that gives you enough to be dangerous. Now, talking about curating conversations. So if you're using Instagram for sales, and again, this is something I talk about in much more detail in the small audience sales system course, which I usually just give away to coaching clients. I talk about the idea of curating visibility. So we don't want to necessarily wait for the algorithm just to notice us. We don't want to just wait. Like, someday, I hope that you see me. We want to actually try to force this growth. And so we do that through curating visibility. And we curate visibility through some of the things I just said, through using hashtags, following people, doing collaborations, using friends and community. But we also curate visibility by having really strategic content. So you're not going to post generic motivational quotes. What you're going to post is going to be super specific to your audience. So if you want to do like quote posts, for example, but you want to make sure they get good engagement and result in sales, you want to think about what kind of quotes would my ideal avatar engage with. And the funnest way to do this, in my opinion, is to try to think about unpopular opinions or things that might make somebody a little bit mad. So I'll show you some examples. Unpopular opinions, like addressing things that you know your people are struggling with. So we'll go back to this tab here and go back to my profile. Okay, so this post did well because when I posted it, and still at the time of this recording, Instagram engagement sucks for everybody. And so it's really important for me to remind people, like, I post on Instagram every day, and that's a platform that I am very focused on right now. That's why I'm making this video, because I have opinions about what's working for me. However, it's not the only place that I post on. I cross post all the time. I didn't used to, but as of about 9 months ago, I cross post the same content to my Facebook business page, to LinkedIn, and to Instagram. I post some content that is similar to what it's on Instagram also to my Facebook group. Where else? And now I'm doing YouTube, which is a whole other thing. Yeah, I'm a manifesting generator personality type. So if you don't know what that means, just know I like to do a lot of things and I can't help myself. So this post did really well because Instagram engagement sucks. And so this was really helpful for people. Other posts that did well. This is another one affirming like sometimes engagement sucks. And the truth is, guys, for the income that I have, my audience is not very big. I mean, a lot of my clients have giant audiences. One of my clients was not making any money when she came to me. She has 50,000 followers on Instagram and decent engagement and isn't making money. So the amount of followers and engagement you have does not reflect in your sales. Um, so this is another post, a text post, unpopular opinion. Like more income doesn't always have to be your priority. This has been so eye-opening and helpful for me personally and also for my clients. Like sometimes it's time to push and make more money, and sometimes it's time to pull and learn how to work less and create leverage and decrease your expenses, right? It doesn't always have to be making more and more money. This was inspired by a client who fired me. um, should I make a video about that? Um, this one actually it ended up performing okay, but when I first posted it, the engagement was pretty low because I feel like it was too specific. But it was still I liked that post. Then a testimonial quote. This one also did well. Anyway, you get the point. The things I do that get good engagement tend to be unpopular opinions. This is another one. This is a pet peeve of mine. A lot of people call themselves business coaches who don't have a lot of business experience. So make sure that whoever is hiring is doing the thing that you want to do. Okay, so we're talking about strategic content in order to curate visibility. So unpopular opinions. The kinds of content you need to be posting, it always has to be relevant to your client, but the motivational quotes, like the kind of quotes I'm showing you, that works because they are they're polarizing. But a lot of your posts need to be about sales and calls to action. And those posts are not going to get as much engagement. Those posts are also not going to say, "My name is Allison Reeves. I'm a business coach. Please buy from me." Because I have to write my sales post in a way that's interesting for people who aren't ready to buy from me. So the way to write posts that are interesting for people who are not ready to buy from you is to kind of structure it around storytelling and lessons. So you might have heard me talk about this before, but there's 3 types of content that you'll post on Instagram that are going to be it's going to make sure you tick these boxes of being interesting and being relevant to who you're selling to. So number 1, inspirational content. So inspirational content is like, I want to be like you. Um, it's going to be, I'm sorry, inspirational content. It's going to be like motivational content. So like I want to be motivated by you. So it's going to be like the kinds of things I was just showing you. A lot of that was motivational content. It's going to be like the quotes. It's going to be a lot of like mindset, right? So if you're a coach or a service provider, a lot of times for someone to invest in you, we kind of have to help them over some mindset humps because we have to make sure that they know they can succeed. Like oftentimes when someone's hiring me, I have to help them believe in themselves again. So inspirational posts. The second type of post you're going to have is aspirational. This is like, I want to be like you, or I want to be like your clients. This is testimonials, before and afters, client stories, client results. So I post lots of client stories. A lot of them are anonymous, especially the more I get into somatic work, the more they're anonymous. I do always ask people if I can post it first, as long as it's non-identifying. So like if I'm doing inner child work, I don't want to be like, my client Sammy met her 7-year-old today and cried because her mom never showed. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't say that. It would be non-identifying, but I post lots of client stories. People can understand what I'm doing. So that's aspirational, testimonials, client results, or personal results. And then lastly, educational content. This will probably be the content type. I'm trying to think of a word that means more. You're going to write more educational content posts about than you will the other types of posts probably. There's lots of different kinds of educational posts, mistakes people are making. They're trying to do this to get the result that they want, and it's not going to work for them, and you know why. What used to work that no longer does? Example A is this video. Instagram doesn't work how it used to. You can't just post really pretty photos. Such a bummer. I'm actually sad that Instagram is prioritizing video because I really have enjoyed the photo process. but it's just not helping my growth. Videos and quotes are helping my growth, and then all these other things I'm sharing with you. Um, I do have some posts that have just photos and really good captions that perform well, but I feel like I've got to think real hard about that caption in order for it to perform well. Um, Educational post mistakes I used to make, things I used to work that no longer do. Um, when you're doing educational posts, you want to try to talk about the what, not the how. So if I'm going to say, like, for example, if I make a video that's like how to get to 10K months, I'm not going to probably tell like every step in detail on how to get to 10K months because I want that person to become a client. But what I will tell them is that you have to have an offer, you have to have a small focus, you've got to work on this type of mindset, you have to have a leverage in your business, and you have to address your nervous system. So that's like, then I would describe each of those things, but I may not get into the exact steps to do all those things. That's a good type of educational post that talks about the what and not the how. I'm talking very fast. I see that there's comments here, but I don't see any questions. So obviously, if you have questions, you should just ask them. But I appreciate all of you who are watching me live for the spontaneous mega long Instagram training I'm doing that will probably eventually be behind a paywall. So enjoy it now. So that's that. So that's how to use Instagram in 2022 and 2023. I don't see any questions in the comments. So I just want to make sure I'm going to kind of go back in my brain. I want this to actually be actionable. So I want to take all of this a step further and something I didn't actually write in my outline, which is like, okay, so this is how Instagram works. This is the type of content I should post on it. But like, how do I actually start doing that? So now it's time to look back at like let's look at your personality. So there's two ways to kind of structure the way that you're going to post your content, whether you're repurposing or not, which I would highly recommend repurposing your content. So for a long time, my primary focus has been Instagram. I'm probably going to move away from that being my primary focus, but I'm still going to post on Instagram every day. I feel like I'm being drawn into moving back into prioritizing Facebook and maybe YouTube, but you probably won't notice a big shift because it's going to look the same to you. It's just where my energy is going. So I want you to post on Instagram, and I would love for you to use all these tips, but I want you to post on other platforms as well. That's what I'm getting at. So let's kind of take a step back, like, okay, now we know how to use Instagram. How can I actually make sure to use this? So there's two types of workflows that people generally fall into. One is the people who like to batch content, and one is people who have to write from an inspired place in the moment. And so if you don't know what type of personality type you are, I would be happy to do a reading with you. We can do a human design reading, and I'll just kind of help you understand the way that you work and respond to things, or you can Google it and probably just find out how you like to work if you don't know. If you like to batch content, great, that's wonderful. If you like to batch content, then what I would recommend, and actually whether you batch content or write day to day, so I'm in the camp, I'm assuming you guys know what it means to batch content. It just means that I want to write all my posts at one time and then schedule them out. I don't like to batch content because I have to respond to what's going on in my world and in the world in general in the moment. So I can sometimes write posts a couple of days out, but for the most part, I have to I do my mindset routine in the morning, and then I usually create my content for the day. Now, what's interesting about this is that I am in a year-long contract with someone who schedules my social media posts, but I don't batch content. So what this looks like is they schedule out all of my posts just with the image. And then I have to remember to write the caption. So every now and then, probably in the last 9 months, you've probably seen like a post of mine that went out with no caption. It was like, I didn't get to it soon enough, but I edited it later. Don't worry. Okay. So you either like to batch content or you like to write it day to day. Either way, I would think about, first of all, themes. So I would think about monthly themes and or weekly themes or both. So a monthly theme for me is I have a free workshop coming up this week. Go to AllisonReeves.co/workshop. Pitch. So I have a free workshop this week. And so I know that all of my efforts for at least 2 weeks are going to be workshop, 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 workshop. But I also know that I don't want to just write about the workshop. I have to write about the different components of the workshop and make it interesting to write about and respond to. So then I also have weekly themes. Those weekly themes for me, I choose the weekly theme in a very untraditional way. that works for me, which I'm happy to share with you offline, but I'm not going to share it in this video. You can choose weekly themes based on a client story that you find inspiring, or if you're batching content, you can just look through. So I'll show you guys. Like, I wrote out for my Worthy of Wealth Mastermind, like kind of like all the problems and solutions and things on this piece of paper. So when I really wanted to go hard in the last week in September posting about this, I just had like, okay, I had 4 pillars in this offer: mindset, leveraged income, restoration, and allowing your success. So like if I'm going to focus on Worthy of Wealth for a whole month, week 1, I'm focusing on mindset. Week 2, I'm focusing on leveraged income. Week 3, I'm focusing on restoration. Week 4, I'm focusing on allowing your success. Okay. So think about your theme for the month and then your themes for each week. And this can be as narrow or as broad as feels good to you. We can work all this out together on a session if you want, but that will help give you a baseline. And then, so I'm the kind of person who I don't like to be this planned out. So if I'm saying all this and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming, then don't sweat it. Just make your content day by day and make sure that you're posting consistently, which we'll talk about in a second. So the second thing is, how often do I want to post? How often can I really be consistent in a way that feels good to me? For me, for a long time, it was every day. Right now, it's like 5 days a week. Sometimes it's 4. But I feel amazing about posting every day on the weekdays. And I used to post on the weekends too. And now I just don't want to think about it. I want to give myself a rest. I want to give my audience a rest. If I feel super inspired on the weekend, which often happens, I'll write on the weekend, but don't put any pressure on myself. So I post 5 days a week. And I know in the 5 days, I want to do at least 1 reel, and the rest of them, and like at least 1 reel, at least 1 or 2 text posts, and the rest are going to be photos. So that gives me kind of a basis of like my visual feed. I don't like to plan it out any more than that. So for me, if I want to write a motivational quote, I will. If I have a client story that I want to share, I will. If I have an idea for a reel, then I'll make it. For you, you might want to get more specific because this might make it easier for you when you're starting. So let's say what feels amazing to me right now is I'm going to post 3 days a week on Instagram really consistently. So if that was your baseline, I would say one of those is a long form caption, one of those is a shorter caption, and one of those is a reel. So you can even say one of those is a client story or educational post, one of those is a quote, and one of them is a reel. That will make it very easy, 3 posts a week. Then you zoom out and you look at your theme for the month. Then you zoom in and look at your themes for the week. So if I was going to apply this to the Worthy of Wealth promotion, I would say on week 1, I want to focus on mindset. So on Monday, I'm going to post a client story. On Wednesday, I'll do an unpopular opinion or quote. And on Friday, I'll make a reel educating people about one aspect of mindset. That could be a very easy schedule if I worked that way, but I am too chaotic to be that organized. So this is how you can take everything that I've taught up to this point and actually apply it into a posting schedule. Then what I would say is your hashtag engagement, following people and collaborations, get those on a schedule. So do your hashtag engagement every day, 3 days a week. Just create a checklist of like tiny daily tasks that you do. That's what works for me in following people. And then for collabs, maybe try to do collab once a week, every 2 weeks, whatever it is. There's lots of other ways to grow your Instagram, by the way, that don't involve just like chasing after people. And we can have offline conversations about those if you guys have any questions. But yeah, that's how I'm going to keep growing my Instagram in 2022 and 2023. And I cannot imagine that it won't be relevant then because Instagram is still pushing video. So your reels are your reach marketing, but they are not necessarily going to result in sales. You want to make sure that your reels are really related to what you're selling. And then make sure that you're curating your visibility by forcing conversations through hashtags, having really good content, etc. I hope this is all helpful for you guys. And thank you for all the comments and for watching. And that's all I have to say. So I'm going to hang out for 15 more seconds in case there's a delay, and then I will end this live. While I'm hanging out for 15 more seconds, you guys can go to AllisonRaves.co for blog posts, more information. The free workshop I'm doing, which I will probably repeat, so that URL will probably be the same, just AllisonRaves.co/workshop. And then I also sell, of course, business coaching and somatic coaching and the small audience sales system, which teaches this process in more detail. That course is not currently for sale, but I'd be willing to sell it to you. The best way to implement that course is through one-on-one coaching. Ask your question. Like the comment just says, I have a question. Okay, ask your question. I will answer it. But thank you for the extra engagement by prefacing the question with this statement that I have a question. I'm procrastinating on a task that I really should be doing, so I'm happy to answer more questions. And I'll eventually edit this and timestamp it so that you don't have to watch 40 minutes of Instagram training to get one thing out of the video. Yeah, what questions do you guys have? I'll keep hanging out until I see the question. Good to see you, Kara. Kay asks, how do you decide how much of the what to give? This is a great question. I feel like this is something a lot of people struggle with. So what she's talking about is like when you're teaching in an educational post, how much of the what to give. So you can give away all of the what. But you can also give away some of the how. So this is kind of like an old marketing thing that you've heard before, is like, you should talk about the what, not the how. And that's exactly what I said earlier. But I would argue that you can even give away some of the how. So how do you decide what to give away? I would say give away information that's not behind a paywall and that won't sabotage your offer. So that's why this video, as a 40-minute and going video, that's a pretty detailed training of Instagram, I'm going to have to decide if I want this to be behind a paywall later or not. Because I feel like I have to go back. I want to make sure it's not sabotaging what I'm teaching in the small audience sales system. Although in SaaS, I'm getting more specific on like tech tutorials, getting sales calls on the phone, like how to reach out to people in Messenger, which I didn't talk about today at all. But having a messenger strategy that doesn't feel gross is a really important part of curating your visibility too. So I would say, how do you decide how much of the what to talk about and how much of the how to talk about? My biggest advice is, how much can you give away that's not going to sabotage what's behind a paywall? So I could also argue that like there's no reason for me to ever charge for this video, because the main thing that I'm selling is coaching. And so like, yeah, you can watch this video and implement and get all the value right from here. But if you want handholding, that's what's behind a paywall. So maybe I'll just keep this video free under that understanding. Is that helpful? So, and that goes for like the somatic work that I do too, and even some of the business coaching stuff. Is sometimes I'll do a lot of like the somatic stuff teaching. I'm going to be doing more of that like for free on YouTube, because part of my thinking there is, if I can get people to believe in themselves and to see how they can be empowered to do their own healing, like they're probably going to be more likely to invest in me, or they'll be in a better mental place to invest with me because they're already empowered. So then that makes sense to me. I'm like, well, that I can give that away for free all day. I'm not always, and right now I'm actually even doing somatic coaching. I'm doing some somatic sessions for free for my certification. But part of that is like, I feel like some of these people are going to buy from me, and some of them already have. Does that answer your question? That's a good question. That's a very common question. Ah, that makes sense. Cool. Anything else? Yeah, exactly. Give away enough to empower them to be in the mind space to work with you. Cool. Thank you guys for showing up for this epic training. And I'll see you around on social media, on Instagram, maybe on LinkedIn. Actually, you'll see my posts on LinkedIn, but you probably won't see me. But you will see me on Facebook. So, all right. Thank you guys. I will see you around. Okay, bye.